Hello everyone again. We are welcoming you to our last for today info session about the master's programs in IT programs. And today we are going to introduce our three programs: computer science, software engineering, and robotics and computer engineering. After this, we are also going to host a discussion session with students from this program. So please don't leave exactly after the webinar will be done. Also, I would like to remind you that this is a very good place where you can ask your questions. So if you are watching us from workshop, please then next to the info session, you can find the Q&A button where you can write your questions to us and then we will answer them online. If you want to address your question specifically to some certain program or specifically to one of the program managers who are going to introduce their programs today, then you can just indicate the name of the program or the name of the speaker. And today with me, I have Eero Vainiko, who is from computer science, who is joining us online, and he's going to be presenting the first one. And then the second presentation is going to be about software engineering, about the speaker is going to be Dietmar Pfahl. And then the third one is going to be about robotics and computer engineering, and our presenter is Heikki Kasemägi. So we are expecting lots of questions from you. Please don't forget to write your questions even during the presentations, and we will answer them in the end during the Q&A session. So all in all, I will give a floor to our first speaker, who is Eero, and Eero is going to introduce computer science program. Eero, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I hope my slides can be opened soon. I welcome you to Introduction to Masters of Computer Science program, and I'm very happy that we can do this presentation, and I hope you can get enough information, and if you have any questions, you can then ask later about your questions then. So somehow I cannot see the slides. Is it possible to open these? Yes, this was, my name is Eero Vainiko, and I'm Professor of Distributed Systems at the Institute of Computer Science. And I will talk about master's curriculum on computer science here. And our curriculum consists of modules, and we have 7 modules altogether. So the first one is base module, which is consisting of 4 basic courses. And then the second module is to choose from 3 different specializations, whether it is theoretical informatics and quantum computing. Here, there is a change from next year. In the name, we will separately say also quantum computing here, in addition to theoretical informatics. And the second choice is distributed systems specialization module, and the third one is artificial intelligence. Then master seminar module is 6 credits, selectives module 12 credits, and then optional courses and practice module. And the curriculum is ended with master thesis, which is 30 credits in total that can be done in 2 parts. So now more specifically about the modules. So as I said, the base module consists of 4 courses. 3 of them are scheduled for the first semester, and it's very essential for you to pass those courses on the very first attempt. The algorithmics course is the very basic of all computer science we are teaching here. Then design and analysis of algorithms is about theoretical informatics part. Machine learning is for artificial intelligence specializations, and distributed systems is for as Introduction to Specialization of Distributed Systems. So it means that on your choice of 3 of those different specializations, based on the base module courses, you can actually take as elective courses or pre-choice courses, also some courses from the other specializations. Now, about the specialization modules, all of them are 24 credits, and you have to choose one of those finally towards the end of first semester. Although actually during the intake, you already have to write about your choice in the motivation letter, but you still can make up the final choice while studying here already. And there is a lot of different courses in theoretical computer science and quantum computing. For distributed systems, parallel computing is one of the essential ones, and there you can learn about cloud computing, intelligent transportation systems, and big data management. Also, DevOps is one of those courses we're dealing here, and now Internet of Things is a cool thing as well. In artificial intelligence, you can actually have some sub-choices from natural language processing, like neural networks, and also bioinformatics and machine translation, fuzzy logics as well. Now, the master seminar is actually 6 credits. You have to choose from different research groups in our institute, and each of those different colors actually correspond to different research groups here, whether it is on theoretical computer science or quantum computing research group, or distributed systems research group with blue here, or artificial intelligence. But in addition, you can do also programming language research seminar and data systems research seminar, and or digital product management as well. So these are like additional possibilities there. In practice modules, you have actually 18 credits to take, and the most obvious choice is to go for a practical training to some company, and do the 12 credits or 18 credits altogether. But there are other possibilities as well that you can go for, or combine those different choices here. Is actually practice through teaching, mainly teaching on bachelor level. Though yes, it is mainly for bachelor level courses. So that as Bachelor of Computer Science here is in Estonian, it might need to know Estonian, at least for part of the courses. Then there is possibility to do entrepreneurship practice with some courses here, like software entrepreneurship project or introduction to software entrepreneurship. Or you can also get credits for participation in hackathons. There are different choices for that you can do. And there is also possibility to do some of the research, or completely this practice through doing practice through research, like research project in theoretical informatics or distributed systems or data science, or research project in theoretical informatics as a whole, larger research project there. Then the electives module is the one that you can actually use to take whatever courses from our institute and from other specializations as well, mainly. And the only limitation is that this should be our institute's master level course. And connected with the electives module, there is also possibility to do a mobility window, which is actually going to our some of our partner universities, where you have to do at least 15 credits per semester, and you can do the specialty courses, elective courses, or practice module courses. With the fifth module, optional courses, you can choose any course from our university. It is typical to learn some languages, or of course you can take some course that you're really interested in from our institute as well, or from the Faculty of Science, Physics, Chemistry, why not? Now, a little bit about studying at the University of Tartu. There are lots of homework and projects, usually no traditional desktop-based labs here. A lot of online communication, of course, which has started even being more important because of the pandemic. But different social media and teaching media is used, like Moodle, we use Zoom, Panopto, Zulit, MS Teams, Slack, Discord, and possibilities. And yeah, roughly you should think that one ECTS corresponds to 26 hours of work. Also, our labs typically run in normal classes, and each student has to have a laptop, and you can actually borrow one from our institute if you prefer so. Grading systems, there are two options, whether it is like A, B, C, D, E, F type of grading or pass or fail courses. And mostly courses are scored from 0 to 100. And if you have at least 50% done, you get the positive mark. The master thesis, said it's 30 credits in total, but there is option to do 10 credits in the end of third semester. This would make it more flexible for some people who want to take some special course on the last semester. But you can then start doing your thesis beforehand, and it's really good to get started. To have a look what thesis looks like at our institute, I suggest you to look at our thesis database, where you see how people and our students, what themes have been chosen and how this looks like. Then very important for you probably is to know that we have scholarships available. Officially, this is tuition paying curriculum, but there are 40 tuition waiver stipends, and it means you get those 40 non-fee paying positions. It is driven so that 31 of those are given to EU students and 9 to non-EU students. And in addition, there are 15 fee-paying places. So the tuition fee is 3,000 euros per semester, or 120 euros per ECTS. But there are even more good news that there are some scholarships on top of the free places, like achievement stipend, which you get automatically when you are doing really only A's for your exams and final grades. And then there is European Social Fund stipend, then there is IT Academy specialization stipends available, Ministry of Foreign Affairs for applicants from Ukraine, some other countries listed here. And then there are some special stipends like Cybernetica Fellowship. And one very special one is an Industrial Masters in IT program, which essentially means that the last 2 semesters you work with a company and you're part of the studies with them, including your thesis. Now, just to remind you that 15th of March is the submission deadline to submit your application, and here you know there is information about how to write the motivation letter, which gives 50% of your final grade, and the previous level of study gives 50%. With writing this motivation letter, the most important thing is that you write it yourself. You do it in such a way that it is interesting and good to read. And there are some information how to write it. It's important to answer all those questions here. And yes, we are situated in a modern building in Delta, where you can find information, and there are some links to additional information where you can contact and ask questions if you have any about this curriculum or admission or whatsoever. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eero, for your presentation. Thank you for outlining the program details and telling more about admission process. And I would like also to mention that if you would like to see Delta building, how it looks inside, you can also join us on Wednesday when we are going to have online tours. So you can see actually how Delta building looks inside, and all of these programs that are going to introduced today, they are located in Delta as well. And of course, I would like to remind you to leave your questions. So please, even during the presentation, if you have any questions, leave them, and then afterwards we will answer them online. And right now, I'm going to give a word to Dietmar, who is going to introduce software engineering program. Dietmar, the floor is yours.
It's on. Okay, so I hope everybody can hear me. So my name is Dietmar Pfahl. I'm a professor of software engineering at the University of Tartu, and I will today talk about the Master of Science in Software Engineering. So, and by the way, many of the things I will say are similar to what Eero said in computer science, because also the Master of Software Engineering is directed through the Institute of Computer Science. And our programs are both based in the computer science bachelor program that we also have in this institute. The difference, or one of the big differences, apart from the content or some of the contents of the software engineering program, is that it is shared with another university, with the Technical University of Tallinn, with TalTech. So you will see in the next slides that some of our courses are taught in Tartu and some courses are taught in TalTech. That also depends partly on the specialization that you choose. So as I said, the program is based, or the basics come from the bachelor program, and also in the bachelor program we have already some specializations, among others the software engineering specialization. What you see here on the slide is courses on software engineering, software testing, web app development, software project course, a capstone project course. So these are courses that we in a way expect from all students who apply to the master's program, that they are more or less have had similar courses in their bachelor programs. Because the whole curriculum of the software engineering program is rather technical. So we expect that you have already a solid basis. So this is now the structure of the program. You see at the bottom the so-called core module that consists of 4 courses. On the next slide, I will show the details. But the important thing about the core module is that these courses are mandatory, and 2 of them are taught at TalTech and 2 of them are taught at the University of Tartu. So all students who take this program have to take these 4 courses. So, and usually you do it in the first semester. And then at the latest during the first semester, you have to make up your mind whether you want to take the enterprise software specialization or the embedded software specialization. The enterprise software specialization is governed by University of Tartu. So basically, if you choose that program, you will mainly be or almost exclusively be at the University of Tartu. And if you pick the embedded software specialization, you most probably will take most of your remaining courses in the program at TalTech. So each of the specializations has 4 courses, and you will see on the next slide how you can choose from different sets of courses in each program. In addition, like in the computer science program, you have also electives and free choice courses. You can take up to 18 credit points of those courses. The rules are the same as in computer science. These courses have to be offered at master's level to master's level students in one of our institute's programs or in the neighboring institute, actually, also technology institute. And then there's a professional practice where you either can use like teaching practice courses where you are TA in some of the courses that we teach in our institute, or you have an internship in a company, and that can be in Estonia, or it could even be combined with some mobility activities within Europe. And of course, at the end, you also write your thesis, and there are 2 3 credit point seminars accompanying the thesis. So now let's have a quick look at the core and specialization modules. Now at the top, you see the core module. The 2 courses in blue are the ones taught at Tartu University, Agile Software Development and Systems Modeling. And the red courses are taught at Tallinn. So they have a course on, basically it's functional programming advanced, it's called advanced programming, and some, basics that all software engineers should know about software quality standards. And that is taught also at Taltech. So then, after that, you will either take the embedded system specialization, and from next year, next academic year onwards at Taltech, you can pick 4 courses out of 5. The telecommunication services and networks course is new. And the other 4 courses have been taught in the last years already. And it's just to give you more flexibility. You can now pick 4 out of 5. And in the enterprise system specialization or enterprise software specialization, we have 7 courses from which you pick, but you cannot randomly pick. So there's one course that is very basic and very fundamental. It's called enterprise system integration. That has to be taken by all students in this specialization. But then you can pick 2 from 3 courses on product management, process management, requirements engineering, and 1 course from business data analytics, big data management, and machine learning. And by the way, those courses that are listed here and you don't pick for inclusion in the specialization module, they can of course be taken as an elective course or as an as an optional course. Sorry. So the electives module is also different depending on whether you study at Taltech or at Tartu, so whether you take one or the other specialization. At Taltech, you have a sort of predefined list of courses from which you have to pick. So only those courses shown on the slide on the right-hand side would be eligible as elective course in the embedded specialization. In Tartu, you don't see a list of courses because you can, in principle, pick any course that is, as I said earlier, offered to master students. It is sort of the difficulties at the level of a master's course, and it is a technical course taught to our students in our institute's programs. So you couldn't take a master level course, let's say, in Spanish or something like that. Good. The practice and seminar modules are really very similar to what Eero said on the computer science program. On the left-hand side, you see a list of courses that basically you can take as part of the practice module. But in addition to that, any kind of, let's say, defined and checked activity in terms of an internship could also count. Then it would formally go under I think there's something called practical trainings in informatics, so it would be subsumed under those courses. But there's no time now to go into the details. The most important thing is for you to know that there are many different ways how you can get your practice module filled up. And the very common one is to just simply do internships in companies in Estonia or in Europe. So in the end, when you have completed the program, you should be really a full stack software developer who knows much about all the technical aspects of how to develop software, how to make sure that it has good quality, how to develop it efficiently. That is what you see also in the blue colored box here. But in addition, we also want that software engineers have some, let's say, at least some knowledge about management-related activities, and that is in particular, I guess, product management is important, but also process management when it comes to business process management. We have quite good and quite many courses on that topic. And then there are these more analysis-like courses, like business data analytics. So that means that you can also, in the software engineering program, even take courses that are more related to machine learning and artificial intelligence courses, where you try to make sense out of data, for example, for different application domains. There's no problem whatsoever to get a job after you have completed the program. All our students get quite attractive and good jobs either in Estonia. Here you see a list of companies that have offices in Estonia, but many of them actually are international, and they also have offices in Europe and in the UK and in the US. There's one thing I should once again mention to you that has to do with the split of the program between Tartu and Tallinn. In the last 2 years, due to the COVID, emergency, that did not really happen because much of our teaching was done online. But we hope that eventually that will end and we can go back to more regular in-class teaching. And we actually would like even that our students learn to know both campuses, both universities, Taltech and University of Tartu. So during the first semester, when you have to pick courses from both universities, we have, of course, made arrangements, or we will make arrangements so that this can be done logistically. So even if you live in Tartu, then you can take the courses at Taltech. There will be a bus shuttle going, and the same in the opposite direction. After the first semester, this becomes more or less obsolete because you will either be in Tartu or Tallinn anyways, depending on your specialization. So just a few words about the intake. So these numbers on the slide here show you how many students we typically have after the first 2 months of the program had started. So it's a bit less than like 55 students. It's a rather, let's say, stable situation. And what you see in blue color are students from European Union countries. And the red part of the column shows students coming from non-EU countries. So the main point of this slide is to show you that there is a rather good split in the middle. So it's about 50% local students, because European Union students are almost all of them are from Estonia, even though in the last years we get also more students coming from other EU countries. And the red color shows the number of students coming from outside European Union countries. So this is just another view on it, and here you can even see a little bit of split on the type of countries from where our students come from. So you see it's a quite a big mix, which is quite interesting and quite good. So graduation, so again, the slide, there's no need to really read the numbers. What it tries to show is that, first of all, you can graduate at both universities, and that is even independent where your specialization is. So it could turn out that even though you take the embedded specialization, you might want to do a master thesis topic under supervision of a teacher from University of Tartu, that's possible, and vice versa. And the two colors you see here have to do with where students did graduate. And the other important information here is that we managed quite well to really get a high percentage of our students to finish the program successfully. So it's over 80% of the students really make it, and some do it with a little bit of delay, and then it takes maybe one year extra, but we are quite successful actually in getting almost everybody to complete the program. So what do you have to do to apply and get accepted? This is very much the same as for computer science. You have to write a motivation letter that gives 50% of the, let's say, the value of your application. So we will have an application evaluation committee where we read your letters and we try to see who seems to be more or better matching the profile of the program. And the other 50% come from the GPA of your bachelor degree. So we, as in the last years, we tried to fill 55 seats in the program. Typically, we do a little bit overbooking, so we rank all the applications. We get 250 plus applications every year. We rank them, and then the top 100, 120 will get an invitation, and typically half of those actually take the invitation. As Eero said, for computer science, we also have tuition waivers, because in principle you have to pay for the program, but there will be 31, I think that's on the next slide, there will be 31 top-ranked students from European Union countries will get a tuition waiver, and then an additional 10 of the non-EU students who get an invitation will get a tuition waiver. On top of that, there is also opportunities for scholarships, and but that is again exactly the same list of scholarships that Eero has already mentioned in his presentation. So I think that's basically it. Here are also some links. You can find more information on our institute webpage, and I guess I can stop here.
Thank you very much for your presentation and for so detailed description of the program and the admission process and the students that are studying and graduating at the program. And I would remind you that if you're interested to apply to software engineering, please leave your questions and we are going to answer them after the last presentation is done. And right now we are going to move with our next presentation, which is about robotics and computer engineering program. And I'm giving the word to Heiki.
Okay, thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Heiki Kasemägi. I am Associate Professor of Institute of Technology, and also I'm a Program Manager of Robotics and Computer Engineering. So I have no idea if Eero showed you where are we situated, but Estonia is a small country in a far northeast corner of Europe. Area is quite small, only 45,000 square kilometers. The population is so small that they claim that once a quarter of our population was covered to this square. We use euro as a currency. Our capital looks like on this picture. We are a member of European Union and NATO since 2004. So I guess you don't have to worry about the Russians. So just next to, just the other side of our border. This picture is actually taken from space, and I put it here because it was taken from Estonian first satellite, which was made in our university, and also by our students. So first place you reach, probably if you come to Estonia by plane, is Tallinn, and then you have to travel to southeast about 200 kilometers. Where on the banks of Emajõgi lies Tartu. Area is roughly 40 square kilometers. Population, including students, is it doesn't exceed 100,000. And the first mention was at 10:30 because of some guy just burned it down. Like always. So our university was founded in 1632 by Swedes. We have roughly 13,000 students, including 1,700 foreign students and 1,100 PhD students. We have roughly 3,000 employees. And also quite a number of PhD theses defended each year. Tartu University is divided into 4 faculties, and our faculty is Science and Technology. The faculty is divided into institutes by the specialties, and we are under the Institute of Technology. And this is our institute from back view, which looks a little bit better than front view, because there is no just place to look at the front view from distant. Now a bit about the curriculum structure. Usually it was put in the first part. Start with a basic module. You have to take it. Almost all the courses we offer in this module, 24 credits, and you have to take them because of to ensure ground knowledge you need to take our courses. Then we have a seminar module, which you also have to take. It's 12 credits total. It can be divided into 2 parts. One is a master seminar, where you can share interesting thing to others, and also learn from our people experience. And the second part is either teaching experience or practical experience in computer engineering. The teaching is mostly assisting in the courses, but practical experience here is about going to a science lab and get involved in a piece of research. To learn what people do in a science lab and how it's look like. So the next big part is specialization. It consists of 3 modules. You have to pick one of them. First, of course, robotics. Then computer engineering, and the last one is space module. Each module contains a bit more than 24 credits worth of courses. So you have a bit of freedom to choose. The next part is a narrow field module. It's divided into 4 separate modules. You have to pick one of them. The first one is professional practice. Total of 24 credits, and this means that you, strictly speaking, you have to go to work. You have to go to work to a private company to get enterprise experience. Also, you can call it internship, but we expect that the company pays you. Because 24 credits means if you work full-time, it's 4 months. Or if you work part-time, it's 8 months. So you have to somehow live. The next one is management module. And the third one is economy module. These are meant for people who are interested either to create their own company or go to PhD studies. And the last one is a semester abroad. This means that you can use, for example, Erasmus to study in a partner universities. And you can use those credits in your curriculum. Then optional courses follow, and on the optional courses you can take any course in a university you'd like. No one can tell what you can take and what you can't. And the final part is master's thesis, 30 credits. And basically that's it with the structure. Here I listed some courses you can take under specialization modules in arbitrary order and all over modules. Just to give you some kind of hint. And if I come back to specialization modules, there is a kind of catch that if you don't want to go to internship or abroad or do management or economy, you can actually do or take two specialization modules, or actually combine 3 of them. You can choose the courses from specialization modules up to 48 credits. Kind of set your own learning path. Of course, you have to negotiate with me, but I expect that people who comes to master studies know the goals and what they have to do to achieve those. Okay, what we are. There are 3 pillars of our activities. It's programming, it's mechanics, and it's electronics. You can do satellites without that. You can do robotics without that. Example of our kind of products. This is a smart in-soil, which measures the pressure when you step down, and it can record the data. It can give you advice how to run, how to step, how to design your shoes. Insight into our labs, and I have to mention these labs are a bit higher class than ordinary student labs. We have a number of robotic arms like X-Arm 7. On the right, there is our own designed robot called Robotont or Crearbot. Also, already our freshmen create their own robots and take part into competitions. As I mentioned, our students put a satellite into orbit. Right now, it's has ended its active work, but this year the second one is going up. Also, our engineers have developed a house for Mars. It's the size of a sea container, and it can kind of spread out on its own, and people can work where if the environment is not friendly for humans. This is what we call the soft robotics. These slices are a piece of rubber which can move if you apply voltage. And if you reverse the voltage, it can bend into another direction. So basically you can put them, move like pendulum. And they can carry, for example, more weight than their own. Of course, we have lots of 3D printers. Also, we're working on printing the same material using 3D printers. We are involved in self-driving technology developments. Here you can see Milram's vehicle, both for military and civil purposes like firefighting. You can be involved in smart solutions, meaning that everything which is wireless collects data which you have to control. Basically, it's called IoT. And also you can do lots of fun stuff like click and grow on a ride. And I have to mention that these are also student projects. And you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Heikki, for so nice presentation and also for showing what you actually can do within the program if you are going to study it. This is really inspiring for our future applicants. So I would like also to point out that we are going to have a tour around the Institute of Technology, online video tour, which is going to happen on Wednesday. So please join us, and you can see if you choose robotics and computer engineering, where you will be studying, and you will see how the building looks inside. And right now, I think we will continue with our Q&A session. And we have received quite many questions regarding admissions. So I will try to group these questions a little bit together so we can just not answer each separate question, but can answer the question in general. So first of all, applicants are writing about different requirements to their diplomas. Prerequisite courses to apply to the programs. For example, we have a question: if I have a bachelor's degree of science in psychology, can I apply? So maybe we can make a circle and then outline what are actually the requirements to each programs regarding bachelor's qualification and what courses are required to be enrolled to program. Maybe Dietmar, if we start from you.
Okay, so first of all, of course, apply can everybody. The question is if you will get admitted. And indeed, for the software engineering program, as I tried to indicate in my presentation, I mean, we expect that you have a very solid knowledge already in how to develop software. We do not, I mean, you cannot learn software development in the master's program. You must already know how to do it. And that means that in what we check when we get applications is that if you do not have a bachelor degree in computer science, that is kind of there we expect that you have all you need. But if you have a different degree, then we look into the transcripts and we check if you have taken courses that seem to be beyond just a basic introduction into programming. So meaning you have to have perhaps taken a course on maybe even software engineering. Maybe you did already a software project, or you can somehow demonstrate that you have taken courses, formal courses in your home university. In databases, in algorithms and data structures, and something related. Yeah, maybe that's enough.
Thank you very much. Heikki, would you like to continue about your program?
Yes, I'd like to emphasize that there are three kind of fields you must have knowledge. First is, of course, programming. I don't expect you to be a software developer. But a little bit more than Python is good. If you know C, C++, it's perfect. And if you know only Python, I expect that you can learn to program in our languages quite quickly. Second is a knowledge in physics. And I really mean in physics. And the second one, you have to know math. If you wanna learn a computer engineering, that we can teach you, but we are not going to kind of help you in basic knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Heikki. Eero, what about your program?
Yes, similarly, if you have computer science or equivalent bachelor's degree, there are no questions. But if you come from another bachelor degree, then we require that you have at least 24 credits related to computer science, including programming and algorithms and data structures. Mm-hmm. And we'll just look at your transcripts the similar way as for software engineering.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And for the applicants who are asking us about their diploma, if you have these courses, I would probably suggest to first ask admission office if you can apply before actually applying, because if you won't qualify, then you won't be considered at any of the programs in IT. So the next questions that we have is actually career perspectives. So what we can do after graduation, if it's easy or difficult to find a job in Estonia. What about graduates, where they work nowadays? Do they leave the country? Are they staying? And another question is about the language, if Estonian is necessary to find a job in IT in Estonia. So maybe I also will start with Dietmar, because I don't know if you speak Estonian, but yeah.
I can probably say a few words, but since I'm so old and I will not stay in Estonia after retirement now, I'm not fluent in Estonian. And so the question is, of course, a quite good one. So it's clear that you don't really need to know Estonian for the studies. It's also not really necessary for your internships, but of course, as everywhere in the world, if you want to live in a country, it's always useful to learn the language. And of course, the IT industry is very international, so the minimum is always English, but it depends a bit on the type of company and what sort of customers they have, for example. So if you, for example, have to talk to customers, maybe in Estonian, then it would help to get a job. So in principle, the shortage of workforce in IT industry is very huge. So I think you will always get a job, but maybe you have more options if you start learning Estonian. But it's not like a prerequisite. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about your graduates? Are they staying in Estonia, or they tend to leave? Or?
Yes, we tried to find that out, because there's of course no real official statistic on that. But we looked into LinkedIn pages and so on. So it's clearly so that also the international students, at least 50% of them, they usually stay in Estonia working. And of course, what happens after 10 years or so, I have no idea. But in the first few years, most of them who find a job or who are looking for a job in an Estonian company, they of course also stay in Estonia. Yeah, so that's also not a real problem. Yeah.
Thank you, Heiki.
Yes, I guess those who find a job during the studies probably stay in Estonia. They have also moved to Europe, getting a job in our European countries. One thing I have to admit quite openly, that people from countries which are not in good relations to the United States may have problems getting a job in private companies. We have experienced that. Some of our students are doing PhD studies, actually, and not Estonian ones, but international students. But we don't have kind of clear statistics about graduates. So
yeah, definitely.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hero, would you like also to add something about computer science?
Yes, the similar way our curriculum is that many actually continue as a PhD students, whether with us or in other universities in Europe. And a lot of students, I would say probably in total, maybe I have heard some number of 80% of students actually work in Estonia after graduation. And of course, many go to Europe, other places. Generally it is very easy to find a job, and it's naturally done through our links and our practice internship project. You go for the internship to some company and you can already try if you fit in there. And so job market is very waiting for our graduates.
Thank you very much. We also have a question about scholarships coming. It was already mentioned during the presentations about the scholarship opportunities, but maybe we just make another round and just again say a few words about the scholarship opportunities, about the programs, because there is some separate questions about programs in robotics. Are there tuition waivers? So let's maybe just go through each program and then just won't open this topic anymore about the scholarship.
So maybe for software engineering and computer science, maybe I can, maybe Eero can start, because I know that you have it on your slides and you know the details, because it's exactly the same in both programs. I think in your program, Heikki, it's perhaps different, I don't know. But for the scholarships, I think in software engineering and computer science, it's exactly the same, and Eero knows better than I.
Eero, if you could please repeat the information, and then we won't come back to this again.
So first, for tuition waiver scholarship, it is done automatically. You can get it through your admission. You already get a letter which says whether you have got the tuition waiver or you get the fee-paying position. And for scholarships, you actually do not have to do anything explicitly to start with. So the first round of getting those scholarships is based on admission score. The top-level students will get the highest one will get the most highest paid scholarships, and then there are those special ones for Ukraine, for Azerbaijan, Georgia, and other countries that were listed on my slide. And then, there are still some special scholarships where you apply, actually. It's cybernetical.
Thank you very much, Eero. Heikki, would you like to add something about scholarship opportunities at robotics?
Well, first, tuition waiver, of course, which is 10 to 12 for Estonian and European countries, and 1 to 2 for our countries. Also, we have this scholarship of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, like our programs. It's meant for Azerbaijan and those countries. And also our students can apply for all our scholarships available in the university. And one scholarship I recommend is for first-year master students. It's called Rotalia Foundation Scholarship. We announce it usually in May. Quite a good amount, and yeah.
Yeah, so keep an eye on the website and don't miss the chance to apply for a scholarship.
Exactly.
And we also have all scholarships gathered together on one website. It's scholarshiput.ee, so you can also check them out as well. And there was a question if there are tuition waivers at the robotics program. So yes, the answer would be yes to that question. Marso?
Just as a follow-up, is there also a question about cost of living and so on coming? Because,
not yet, but we can also
because
cover
it. It is a way it is related. I mean, maybe one should also say that in Estonia, the cost of living is not super high. I mean, maybe it is increasing like everywhere at the moment, but like many international students also see with the situation, let's say in Sweden or Germany or Finland, and the countries not so far away from Estonia, there the cost of living is definitely much higher. So even the student housing costs, even though I think also there was a small increase, it's like 150 maybe around that euros per month to get a room in the student housing. So that is actually, I think, quite attractive in general. And of course that applies to all programs.
Yeah, definitely. It's worth to mention. Maybe our applicants are keeping these questions to the next session when they're going to talk to students and asking them if it's enough money to live in Estonia, for example, using your scholarship. All right, a bit related to scholarship question. Are the admission and scholarship criteria mostly GPA-centric, or is it like an overall profile that you are considering? Dietmar, you can start.
Yeah. Okay. So it's clearly 50% is GPA and 50% is kind of we deduce information from the motivation letter. That is actually why you should very carefully read in the admissions on the admissions webpage what we expect you to tell us through your motivation letter. That can sort of compensate to some degree with if you have a low GPA, but I can already tell you that in the past years for the software engineering program, the GPA has to be probably something like 75% of 100%, however you calculate it, because obviously in different countries there are different rules how the GPA is communicated. But we try to kind of standardize or normalize it in a certain way, and then we calculate how many out of 100% you have GPA-wise, and then we look at the motivation letter. How well did you answer? Do we think you have a good profile? And for example, it can help if you write about industry experience, what you have done working for companies, if you have this experience. And that could then compensate if your GPA is not too strong. Okay.
Eero, is it the same in your program?
Yes, in general, the approach is the same. 50% is GPA, 50% is motivation letter. But in addition to the very first semester, it's based on this intake score. But from then, scholarships are actually delivered based on your performance. So if you really are doing very well, getting all the A's, you get automatically this €100 scholarship already. But on top of that, there are other ones available as well.
Yes. Heikki, what about your program?
Okay, we have two parts. One is GPA, of course. And as far as I remember, it's 40%. And the second part is a bit different for EU countries and non-EU countries. EU countries can write motivation letter. It's 60%. Non-EU countries have to do the test of basic knowledge in physics, programming, and mathematics. Also, EU countries can do the same test if they want to kind of be sure that they get the maximum points out of motivation letter part.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, we have also some questions about motivation letters. So how to write a good motivation letter, or can I include my GitHub and portfolio links in the motivation letter since the application does not require a CV to upload? It would be nice to have a portfolio. Do you have any tips for motivation letters? So maybe we also will make a round and just discuss a motivation letter. What kind of requirements do you have to the applicant and how to write a successful motivation letter? Mm-hmm. Dietmar, I see that you're ready to answer.
As I said before, so please read carefully what we write, what we say on the webpage for the application for the admission. But just to answer the question directly, indeed, yes. If you have, for example, projects that we can, and you provide a link in your motivation letter so that we can look into your repos, that could help us get an understanding on what you have done and how you write the code. And we actually look into this during the admission round. So yes, indeed, that would help, so that you provide sort of evidence for whatever you claim that you can or what you know. Right? The same, of course, we would like to understand. It would be a good idea to already tell us what specialization you think you will pick, so that we see what your goals are. We also ask actually about the reason why you want to study it, so you should bring up motivation. We are not so much interested in why you thought when you were 5-year-old that you wanted to study computer science or software engineering. It's really, stick to the facts. Try to tell us what you did since your bachelor program, and why you want to study software engineering, for example. And even when you want to study embedded systems, why embedded systems? What is your goal? What will you do after you have completed the program? Yes, I think that's it.
Thank you. Eero, would you like to add something, since your programs are very related?
Yes, so all that is related to software engineering relates also to computer science. Maybe if you want to choose theoretical informatics, you should be also telling something about your interest and ability to do theoretical computer science and mathematics behind it. Also, yes, GitHub links to your projects is very important. And most important thing is that this is an essay that you write yourself. If you do copy-paste, it will come out quite automatically through plagiarism check anyway, and you lose points very quickly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Heikki, what about motivation letter for robotics?
The first motivation letter shows that if you can read or not. If you can, it shows that if you answer what is asked for. The second, including your CV is always a good idea. Also, if you include some samples of projects you have accomplished, some robots, some satellites, some videos of those. Also, you can, or actually you should, if you have this chance to mention, for example, your experience in Estonia. If you have been here in summer schools, in your courses somewhere, and if you name right people who you have met, it's only good for you. But be aware of that. I can check that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for such nice tips. Then we have few very specific questions. One is, this might be very specific, but what are the opportunities for someone who wants to pursue an area of blockchain for research and development? I even don't know to whom to address this question. Okay, this is maybe Eero.
Eero, if you want, I can also say something. But
yeah, blockchain and recent developments in computer science is, of course, one of the possibilities to specialize. And we have in each main area of computer science, we have somebody who is well-known researcher, and blockchain is not an exception here. Some good supervisors for your fees.
Thank you. Dietmar?
Yes, indeed. So, of course, in both programs, computer science and software engineering, you have the opportunity to, if you like blockchain, to focus on it. You will also find master thesis supervisors who will be interested. We have already every year quite a few master theses where students do something related to blockchain, either already inside the company, so they do it to solve some problems for, let's say, one of the fintechs here in Estonia. So that's, of course, a clear, yes, there are many different opportunities, and of course the field is evolving at the moment. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We have another question from the applicant who applied already to computer science and software engineering and was accepted last year, but due to some personal emergency problems couldn't accept the offer. But the applicant still wants to apply this year and very much concerned if it would negatively impact this year's applications. Maybe Eero, you can start.
No, we are looking independently. It does not mean that if you were applying last year, you cannot do it again, of course.
Yes.
Yes, clear. Exactly the same answer as Eero.
But
yes.
may I add,
yeah, sure.
if something like this is related to, for example, robotics and computer engineering, maybe you should mention in your application that you applied, because we probably will not check every name against last year, so that would be. Yeah,
if the person already was accepted, so that might be also positive fact. So a question to robotics and computer engineering. So I don't have enough enough ECTS in some of the pre-required courses? As a physics student coming from pure science background, can I apply to join robotics and computer engineering program?
Physics students usually know physics, we know math. And if you can program and pass the test, why not?
Yes, you can also maybe before even submitting your application, contact our admission office and consult just in case. So they can also check like on the individual level the documents, I think. All right. The question about GPA again. How does the admission committee normalize the GPA? Can you please clarify that? Say I have 8.5 GPA on a scale from 10 and I'm from India. What would be the normalized GPA and is it good GPA compared to the previous years? Heikki, if you would like, you can start
Trade
first.
secret. To be honest.
Maybe just to add on it, yes, of course, at the moment I wouldn't even know by heart all the different normalizations because, of course, we collect information about universities worldwide. So just saying that it's from a university in India doesn't really tell us much. Let's say that if you're from one of the top universities in India, then it might be better than if it's a university where we can't even figure out where it is ranked. But in principle, of course, we use some, we know about the different grading systems in different countries like UK, India, Pakistan. So we try to be fair, of course. And we cannot say what is enough because it really depends on who is applying. And this is changing, of course, a little bit every year. Yeah.
Okay, I think that would be enough for this question. So there are some questions about internship, how difficult to find internship, and also if it's possible to combine work and studies. So maybe we can also make the round and include all of the programs and then answer these questions as well. So another question here is the university also assisting in finding internship. So internship and work, combining work and studies.
I guess I should start.
Yeah.
So in principle, there's first of all, I would like to say that you should remember that this is a full-time study place. So in principle, if you did your core module plus the one extra course, like a specialization course or optional course in the first semester, it's a 40 to 50 hour week workload. It's very difficult for me to think that you could have a full-time job at the same time, just to make that also clear. Of course, in principle, it might be possible to work part-time in parallel, and it also depends, of course, it's individual. It depends on what you do and how you do it and so on. But be careful. I mean, don't think you can do a full-time job, at least in the first year of the program, in parallel to the studies. I think you could maybe do it if you are super smart, but I think it's very, very difficult. So that's the one thing. About the internships and does the university help? Yes, we have, for example, this week there will be a so-called career, how's it called? Career festival or something, where company, and that happens every year, where companies are in some place very close to our university buildings, have a kind of fair where they show what they do, where they need people, where they need students for internships. And if you are just a little bit active and go there, talk to companies, you will probably find something. We have a web page where we list internships. Plus, we have also even a special internship, let's say, counselor, so to speak, who can also help to tell you or explain what are the rules, because you cannot do anything as an internship. It has to be related to the study program, of course. But yes, so the short answer is yes, there is some support. Yeah.
Eero, would you like also to add something?
Yeah, I would just probably add that it's very typical to do internship during summer of the second semester. So normally 18 credits will be 3 months, like full work, and you can do like 2 months already during the summer and then part-time later, for example. And indeed, the Institute Career Day is the best place where to look for internship place.
Just to add on that, on top of that, that also many of our students who do the master thesis are actually working it together, on a topic where they are in a company. Again, that should be, of course, discussed with the supervisor how to find out how to combine this, but that is quite typical. So in principle, in the very beginning of the program, we do not recommend to work too much on the side, but then gradually that can increase, and the internship is usually the booster to then in the second year do more work. And as I said, you can even combine your master thesis with working in a company.
Thank you. Heikki, what about your program?
When I talked about curriculum structure, I didn't mention that we try to run all our courses each year, which means that you can take all your courses within 1 year. In the spring, we usually have a career day so in computer science, and when you can, if you go into an internship, you can pick a companies. You can negotiate with them. Also, you can start already in summer. And in this way, you can have the third semester for internship and the last semester for a thesis or combined. And it's usually in this way that the internship grows into a thesis and also into employment. And it would be funny if it won't be that way. And regarding the jobs in Estonia, we say that there is a lack of at least thousands of people in software developing field, also in hardware developing field. So just show up and I guess you can find a job.
Thank you very much. And what about working and studying together at your program? Is it happening, and would you recommend that?
Don't suggest during the first year, unless you don't have much finances, because it takes time to find a job if you are new here. But if you're already doing your internship, we expect that companies pay you. And also, if you do a master thesis on companies' projects, when it's when you can show your skills, what you got during internship.
Thank you very much. We have some questions regarding also admission. First of all, one of the applicants is asking, can you edit the application once submitted and add the CV or tweak a motivation letter based on advice given here? So someone would like to change now motivation based on the advice that he or she was heard today, but unfortunately, if the application is submitted, it's not possible to edit it anymore.
I guess you can always connect to admission office and ask them to add it, or they can show a way how to do it.
Yeah, there is a possibility. I think you can drop an email admissions@ut.ee and just try it out. But normally it's you can't do it yourself without any extra help from admission office, because it's already submitted and it's not editable anymore. Hi. During the admission process, does it help if you have some previous research experience, like a research paper you have worked on previously, and would it be okay to include its reference in the motivation letter? Dietmar, if you can start.
Yes, there's no reason why it should not be okay. Yeah. If you think it's relevant, of course you should think it's if it is relevant for the program. Yes, of course you can do that. Yeah.
Heikki?
Same.
Yeah. Eero?
Yeah, same with computer science.
Yeah.
So we'll add you at some point. Definitely.
Next question is about reference letter. Do we need to attach some reference letter? Not specified which program, this person, not specified to which program, but maybe we can say to every program. Dietmar, if you can start.
So I mean, once again, what we look at is the motivation letter and the GPA. But of course, we always, I guess, all of us, we have access to, like for the international students who apply through the Dream Apply, we have access to all the documents that you submit, and like, for example, also CV. But it's not necessarily so that we look at it. And when I get, sometimes I see like references, like one paragraph of somebody from some company, and I mean, it does probably not really help much. Maybe the only thing it gives us, the only information that we get is that probably you really worked in that company from date 1 to date 2, but that's it. But we are not really, it's not so important for us. At least not in my program.
Unless you get one from Elon Musk, for example, personally. Well, can you imagine that you have reference letters from 3 Indian professors? I have never met, I know nothing about them. But if you have a reference letter from Estonia, from people I know, this is valuable for you. So,
thank you. Eero, how about reference letter considered at computer science program?
It is, approximately the same. It's not the same.
Okay, we will take our last question for today because we are running out of time. And the question is addressed to Dietmar. And the question is quite long. So since Mr. Dietmar mentioned the rank of the university in our home country, I live in Iran. I have studied in a low-ranked university because I was from uneducated family and lived in a small city and low quality of life. However, after the first 2 years of my bachelor's degree, I migrated to the capital of my country and studied in a better college of my university and also started to work in research groups at the most respected and highly ranked university in my country, University of Tehran, for 3 years. And I have the full support of the professors I have been working with. Does the admission committee take this into account, that I have been trying to fulfill this negative part of my educational background by looking at my CV?
To be honest, I haven't really understood what the problem is if you have your bachelor degree in the end from one of these top universities in Tehran. Is that what you said? Because then you are from a top university of Tehran, which at least used to be quite good universities as far as I know. So I'm not fully sure what the problem is, to be honest.
Yeah, and I guess more attention you will pay on the GPA of the bachelor's diploma and on the courses.
Sorry. So this other program was not a master, because college for me is bachelor degree, so I didn't understand. So you have also a master degree, maybe, or?
It's not written only bachelor's degree.
Yeah, that's why I think did not. Okay, it depends on the individual case.
Yeah, but I would recommend to maybe just contact separately Dietmar and then ask this question. Okay, it seems that we are out of time. Thank you very much for being with us today, and thank you for all of your questions. If you still have some questions left, then you can also contact separately our program managers, who are going to be very happy to help you. Also, we are going to send you all the presentations, and then you will have a recording, so you will be able also to see more information from the slides. And thank you for being with us, and don't leave, please. We have our final discussion round with students from the same programs that were just introduced. So stay with us and ask your questions to the students.